Hello, Habari. Welcome to my channel. My name is Lucy. It's good to have you here again. And today we're going to be talking about something that is widely done everywhere you go in the world. So whether you're saying hola, you're saying ni hao, how do you learn to greet when you go to different places? So today we're going to be talking about how to greet in Swahili. Now, if you're visiting any African or East African countries, you'll find that greeting is one of the most important things that we do. We do take time, unlike our friends in the West or in the East, with greetings. In fact, people will be insulted if you miss greeting them or responding to a greeting. So next time that you're visiting one of the countries, and it's a Swahili-speaking country, let's talk about how you would go about greeting people. Okay, so number one, how do we say hello? Hujambo. So if you meet somebody on the street and you're casually speaking to them, this is something that you'll hear, especially when you're a foreigner in a country. You will be addressed with Jambo. You might also hear things like Jambo Bwana. This simply means sir, or in French, monsieur, or you would say maybe in Korean, like ajushi. So it's a title that's saying like hello sir or hello there, that people would address you by. Now, the second greeting that we're going to look at that is probably more common than Jambo that you'll hear most of the locals using would be Hujambo. And with Hujambo, it's basically a negative question that is asking you, is nothing the matter? So when people say Hujambo, I guess an equivalent in English would be, let's see, well, what's up? Or, are you good? So basically, Hujambo is a negative question saying, is nothing the matter with you? Or are you okay? And the answer will usually be Sijambo, which would then say, nothing is wrong or nothing is the matter when you walk around the street. So this is a greeting that you might hear more often and more frequently as you interact with locals around, East Africa and parts of the country where they speak Swahili. So let's talk about another that you're probably going to hear most of the time and more frequently when you're walking, and we probably already talked about. And the third way of greeting is Habari. Now, Habari is a very common way, and basically what it means is news. So you'll hear Habari being addressed with a lot of questions that follow it. So we have like Habari ya, and it will be like Watoto, which is what's the news about your children? Habari socialising, which would be what is the news right now? What's happening right now? And this is something you'll hear a lot of. And usually when you hear the word Habari or you hear the greeting Habari, there's two common ways of answering that. And the first one would be Nzuri, which is good, and Salama, which translates to peaceful. So what is the news of the day? And it's good would be the answer in English. So if someone came up and said Habari ya leo or Habari za leo, you would answer Nzuri or Salama, and that would be the way to answer it. Now, as you go around the country, especially in East Africa, this is probably what you're going to hear most said or spoken in greeting, and then it would usually be followed up with other things that come about. Okay, now let's look a little about, we've talked about the common greetings that you're going to see, and we've also talked about the casual way of saying hello or hi. Now, in Swahili, you'll find that the language is inspired by two different origins. So part of Swahili is going to be coming from, the Bantu languages, so it's influenced by the Bantu languages, and the other part is going to be influenced by the Arabic. And so when we think of that, we have our other greeting that comes from the Arabic background, and that greeting is Sabal Keri. Did I say that right? No, right? And basically what this means is good morning. And Sabal Keri is usually what you'll hear probably spoken along the coasts or the islands, especially when you're in East Africa. And this would be a greeting that addresses you in the morning, saying good morning to you. And the way that, you'd answer that, you'd simply repeat back the same words, Sabal Keri. The next greeting that we have, which is the more formal greeting that you'll probably hear as you walk around. Now, this greeting is used when you're talking to people that, might be older than you, or maybe you're answering to, or people who you think are in higher position or in more respectful positions than you are. Or if you're ever unsure as to how to address somebody or to greet somebody, this greeting is your go-to, because it's the most formal way of interacting with people, and it would be shikamo. Now, shikamo literally translates, I hold your feet. Or if I was to put it in a more simpler term in English, it would be, I bow to you, or I respect you. And the answer to this that you'll usually hear will be maraba. So when people say, you address somebody, you'll say shikamo, and they'll say maraba in answer. And maraba means delightful, or I'm glad you said that, or I'm delighted to hear that. And that would be a greeting that you hear most of the time when you're addressing elders or adults around you. Now, that would be the most formal way of greeting people. Now let's talk about things that you might hear on the streets in a more casual and colloquial setting. So, VP. Now this comes from, a greeting. Usually in the long part of it would be Mambo VP, and over time it's been cut short or reduced to simply say VP. And VP you'll usually hear a lot of when people are walking, and usually the answer to this greeting would be Poa or Safi, Sawa, even Salama. You'll hear that being said with that greeting. And then so now we've talked about the basic greetings that you're going to hear when you meet somebody. So whether they're saying Habari, they're saying Shikamo, or they're greeting you with Hujambo, you'll hear this initially when you first interact with somebody. But as I said, greeting is more, let's see, what should we call it? Greeting is more of it takes a little bit more, I think, than you would in the Western culture. So usually when the first greeting is said, if people have the time, you might hear follow-up questions that come with the greeting that are, things like Uhali Gani, which is, how are you? And that you could answer with good, which is Nzuri, if you remember, or Sijambo. That would be one other greeting to follow up with that. And another common one that might be followed with the initial greeting might be Uzima. Did I say that right? Yes, Nzima. And basically what that translates to is, are you well, or are you whole? Are you good all over? And the answer would be Nzima, which is I am, or I'm whole, I'm good, we're good. Okay, and then one other question that you might hear in the morning or follow-up is, and this is usually maybe said to people if you've been sick or you're not feeling well the night before, it might be a question like umelalaje, and this basically said, how do you sleep? So in the morning, you might hear this greeting, or you might hear this question, which comes after usually maybe, Habari za asubuhi or Hujambo or other initial greetings that come with that. And with that, you've learned your first greetings in Swahili. If you meet a native speaking person, or if you're learning the language, this is a great way to start. If you travel to any of the countries, whether you're in Tanzania, Kenya, Congo, parts of Uganda, and other parts of Africa where they might speak Swahili, this is a good way to introduce yourself and say hello the next time you're visiting. And with that, that is the end of our video today, and thank you everybody. Have a great day. Again, if you did learn anything or enjoyed this video, please subscribe and like, and leave a comment. Let us know what you think. What is your greeting that you would go to if you're visiting or talking to a Swahili speaking person? Hujambo, or maybe Habari. Well, for that, we are done for today, and thank you. Kwaheri. is it the same in Tanzania, like whipping somebody too? Yeah, because you know